Now that you understand how to import media from a camera, card reader, or camera archive, we're now going to look at another common scenario where you need to import video, audio, or still images that already exist on a drive. Perhaps another editor handed you a drive with the media already on it, or perhaps the media you need to import exists in a shared folder on a network. In either case, Final Cut Pro allows you to copy the files into your library or leave them in place. With Final Cut Pro open, launch the Import window by pressing Command-I. Select the desktop icon in the Favorite section, then locate the H5 Event Media folder inside the parent FCP10 Library Media folder. Here's a cool tip. You can save any folder on your Mac as a favorite, so in the future you won't have to hunt for it. Just drag the folder on top of the word Favorites in the sidebar, then select the folder. The next time you launch the Import window, you will have a shortcut to all your media. Inside this folder are 7 subfolders of media. There's also an XML file, but you can't import XML files using the Import window. I'll teach you what an XML file is and how to import it in another lesson. You can import an individual folder by selecting it, or you can spill open the folder and select an item or items within the folder to import. Because these media files no longer retain the directory structures of the original camera media, you won't be able to make selections from your clips. The entire clip must be imported. We're going to import 6 or 7 of the folders. Select the Aerials folder, then shift-click the Music folder to select all the folders between them. Make sure you don't include the Photos folder in your selection. In the File section, make sure Copy to Library is selected. This is always the safest option. If you choose Leave Files in Place, Final Cut Pro would reference the media in its original location using symlinks, as I discussed in Lesson 4. But if you accidentally deleted the folder on your desktop, your media would go offline. In the Keyword section, place a check next to From Folders. This option is a fast way to have Final Cut Pro automatically create groups of related media content in the event. For example, if you look at the names of each folder we're about to import, Final Cut Pro will create individual keyword collections that match the names of each of these folders, then group all the clips that are inside these folders into these keyword collections. In other editing systems, you import folders which become bins. In Final Cut Pro 10, there are no bins, just collections of media based on how they are meta-tagged. For example, the music folder we're about to import has 3 music files in it. Each file during import would automatically be tagged with the keyword music, then a collection would be created to group them together. This is why they're called keyword collections. This will make perfect sense after we import these folders. As far as transcoding goes, in order to improve playback performance, I recommend creating optimized media because all these tutorial files are in a highly compressed format called H.264. But rather than do this now, I want to show you how you can transcode your media after you've imported it. So leave these options unchecked. Moving down the list, let's discuss one of the most powerful features in Final Cut Pro 10, an analysis algorithm that intelligently looks for problems with your video or audio as your media is being imported. By checking Analyze Video for balanced color, Final Cut Pro will look for video that's too blue, too red, or too green. In other words, color balance problems. The analysis also looks for problems with contrast. Final Cut Pro will not attempt to correct for these issues, only remind you that the clip has been analyzed ahead of time. Once you add the clip or clips to the timeline, you can then balance the color with a single click in the inspector. I cover this in much greater detail in the lessons on color correction. For now, let's leave this unchecked as we can always analyze our clips for balanced color later. The next item, Find People, is simply amazing. Final Cut Pro analyzes each clip during import to determine if there are people in the shot, then tags them based on whether they are one person, 2 persons, or a group shot. The algorithm even goes further and tags them according to their framing. So after the clip imports, you'll also see your video tagged with words like wide shot, medium shot, and close up. By checking the item labeled Create Smart Collections after analysis, Final Cut Pro will then group the tagged people shots into a smart collection. So all shots that are tagged as group shots, for example, will appear together in a smart collection labeled Group. One point of clarification before we move on. The Find People feature is not a facial recognition algorithm like you find in Apple's Photos app. In other words, it won't locate and tag Uncle Bill in your wedding video. It will only recognize that a person or persons is in the shot, then attempt to make a keywording decision based on whether Bill is alone, with someone else, or in a group. Sometimes when shooting on location, you end up with audio that is not loud enough, has too much background noise, or has 60-cycle hum generated from improper grounding of your audio recording gear. By checking Analyze and Fix Audio Problems, Final Cut Pro will look for these common problems. Severe problems will actually be fixed during import, while problems that the algorithm determines will need human judgment and skill to fix will be flagged. I'll cover how to fix these common audio problems in the lesson called Enhancing the Soundtrack. In addition, you can have Final Cut Pro detect and separate mono and stereo audio in the clip, which allows for quick reconfiguring of your output channels during editing or final delivery. Finally, if you have any silent audio channels in your imported media, Final Cut Pro will automatically detect and remove them if this box is checked. With regard to analyzing video and audio, keep in mind that the analysis happens in the background, and you'll be able to edit with your clips immediately, even on clips that are still on your camera's media card. In other words, you do not have to wait for the analysis to finish, nor do you need to wait for all the media to copy to your event library to begin editing. If you do not analyze your sound during import, you can always do it later. Let's leave these boxes unchecked. Now click the Import Selected button. After the import process initiates, the Media Import window will close automatically. In the upper toolbar, click the button for the Background Tasks window. This window lists all the background tasks that are being performed on the media and how much of the task has been completed. Now close the Background Tasks window. Once the analysis is finished, the imported clips are placed into the SaberCAD event that resides in the H5 Productions library. Selecting the event icon will load all the clips into the browser. You can view your media as either a list or film strip by clicking this button. Let's work in list view for now. Inside the event are 6 keyword collections that were created from the folder names you imported. Each keyword collection is represented by a key symbol. Selecting the Aerials keyword collection will only reveal exterior shots from the helicopter, and selecting the Cabin keyword collection will only reveal shots taken from inside the helicopter. Take a few moments to explore the rest of the keyword collections. We'll look at the benefits of using these in much more detail in the lesson on organizing. Now spill open the folder labeled People. Inside this folder are smart collections created as a result of the analysis. Each smart collection is represented by a gear symbol. Selecting the close-up shot collection will reveal all the clips that the algorithm determined were close-ups. Selecting the medium shot collection will reveal all the medium shots. With people-based smart collections, often you'll see the same clip appear in 2 collections. For example, the close-up shot of Mitch also appears in the one-person collection. There are 2 categories of people-based smart collections. One set defines the number of people in the shot, and the other defines the type of shot, such as a wide, medium, or close-up. Smart collections result from what is called a Boolean operation that defines the strict criteria for what clips appear in these groups. Smart collections are a powerful feature in Final Cut Pro, and one we'll be looking at in depth in a later lesson. Select the medium shot collection and make sure you're in list view to display your clips in a column layout, similar to the layout you worked with in the Media Import window. If you click the disclosure triangle next to any of the Mitch interview clips, you'll see 2 symbols. The key indicates this clip is part of the Mitch keyword collection, and the little frame indicates this clip is part of the one-person smart collection. Colored bars along the top of the clip's film strip are also indicators that a clip has been tagged with keywords and/or people. You can also import files and folders into an event directly from your Mac desktop. In the Finder, locate the Final Cut Pro X Library Media folder. Open the H5 Media folder to reveal its contents. We're about to drag a folder of media from the Finder directly into the event. However, before you do this, you should check your import preferences. In Final Cut Pro, go to the Final Cut Pro menu and choose Preferences. Then select the Import button. This pane should look very familiar. The options presented here are the same ones that appear in the import window. The difference is these are global import settings. By setting your import preferences here, you don't have to keep assigning them every time you perform an import operation. So why am I bringing this up now? Well, whenever you drag and drop files directly from the desktop, the import settings that are applied to the media are the ones selected here. This is because whenever you drag and drop files directly into an event, there's no dialog window that appears asking you what import options you want. So make sure there's a check next to From Folders in the Keyword section and checks next to Find People, Consolidate Find People Results, and Create Smart Collections after Analysis in the Analyze and Fix section. then close the Preferences window. Back in the Finder, make sure you can see both the Finder window of the H5 Media and the Library pane in Final Cut Pro. Drag the Photos folder over the SaberCAD event in the library. You'll see a green plus icon. This visual tells you that Final Cut Pro is about to copy the media directly into the library bundle. Now release your mouse. So now that you have a handle on how to import media from cameras and hard drives, the next series of lessons will deal with how to organize events and clips within your library.